If you work in cybersecurity, you know the feeling of drowning in an alphabet soup of acronyms. It's just endless, right? Well, today we're going to cut right through the noise and tackle three of the biggest ones out there: SOAR, SIEM, and XDR. We're going to break down what they are, what makes them different, and most importantly, why getting them right is absolutely mission critical. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first, a quick heads up. What we're doing here is the high-level briefing. Think of this as your essential field guide to these really powerful technologies. If you want the full, deep-dive technical manual, you'll definitely want to check out the complete tutorial.
So, why do we even need all these tools with their confusing names? I mean, they weren't just invented for fun. Nope. They were forged in the fire of a very, very real crisis: the complete and total overload that modern security teams are facing every single day.
But what does overwhelmed actually look like? Why are some of the smartest people in the entire tech industry struggling so hard just to keep up? Well, it really boils down to two kind of staggering numbers.
First, there's just the insane tool sprawl. The typical enterprise today is juggling somewhere between 45 and 75 different security tools. Seriously, just try to imagine that. It's like having 75 different alarm systems, all blaring at once, and none of them are talking to each other. That isn't security, that's just chaos. And it leads to alert fatigue and some really dangerous gaps where the bad guys can slip right through. And second, you've got the people problem. Globally, there's a shortage of 3.5 million cybersecurity professionals. That is a huge number. It means teams are stretched incredibly thin, they're burned out, and they just can't possibly sift through the mountains of data those 75 tools are creating. The old way of doing things, just throwing more people at the problem, it's broken. This is where the machines have to step in.
So, let's start building out the solution piece by piece, starting with the absolute foundation, the SIEM. The easiest way to think about this is as the central logbook for your entire organization.
A SIEM, or Security Information and Event Management System, it really has one big job: collect everything. It pulls in security logs from every server, every firewall, every application, every single device on your network, and puts it all in one central library. It becomes the single source of truth for every event that happens, period.
But a SIEM is so much more than just a collector. Its real power is in turning that raw chaos into something clear. As you can see, it analyzes everything in real time, connecting the dots between events that might seem totally unrelated to find those faint signals of an attack. It turns millions of tiny, low-level logs into one high-quality alert that basically screams, "Hey, a human needs to look at this right now."
Okay, so if the SIEM is the detective that finds the clue, who actually makes the arrest? That's where XDR and SOAR come into the picture. These are your first responders.
XDR, which stands for Extended Detection and Response, is really the next evolution of old-school endpoint security. So instead of just looking at a laptop or server by itself, XDR pulls in data from the network, from the cloud, from email, all to get a much wider, more complete picture of what's going on. It's like upgrading from a single security camera to a full-on detective team that can connect clues across a bunch of different crime scenes. And then we have SOAR. And this, my friends, is the automation powerhouse. A SOAR platform is designed to take those alerts from the SIEM and XDR and just automatically execute a response. It follows these pre-written playbooks to handle routine stuff without any human needing to lift a finger. It's basically your automated firefighter.
So what does that automation really look like? Well, a SOAR platform has 4 key superpowers. Orchestration makes it the conductor of the orchestra, forcing all your separate tools to finally play together in harmony. Automation lets it instantly do things like quarantine a laptop the second it gets infected. It also handles case management and enriches alerts with extra data. So if a human analyst does have to step in, they have all the context they need right there.
Okay, so we've met the individual players. But the real magic isn't what they do alone. It's how they work together as a single, unified defense system. This table here lays out the workflow perfectly. Just follow the data. The SIEM sucks in all the raw logs and spits out a correlated alert. The XDR adds that deep, rich context from all over your network. And then the SOAR takes those alerts as its input and produces the final output, a decisive, automated action. You see? They're not competing with each other. They're gears in the same modern security engine.
But, and this is a really important but, there's a critical twist in this story. You see, having the most powerful tools in the world isn't enough. In fact, if you're not careful, they can create a whole new set of massive problems.
This quote from the source material, it's absolutely critical. Just think about it for a second. To do their jobs, these tools need the highest level of privileged access to literally everything on your network. So, if an attacker can compromise your SOAR platform, they don't need to hack 100 different servers anymore. No, they just got the keys to the entire kingdom in one move.
This is exactly why preparation is completely non-negotiable. As you see here, securing your security tools first is what mitigates that huge risk of them being turned against you. It also makes sure they actually work, that they run reliably and respond instantly. And of course, it's essential for meeting tough compliance standards. You absolutely have to secure the protectors.
So what does that preparation actually look like? Let me give you a simple but incredibly powerful example. Just look at this number, 99.9%.
That is the percentage of automated password guessing attacks that Microsoft found can be blocked by one simple thing, multi-factor authentication, or MFA. It's Security 101, a foundational control. And applying it to the admin accounts that manage your SIEM, SOAR, and XDR platforms, that isn't just a good idea. It is one of the most critical defensive moves you could possibly make.
So, as we bring this all together, what's the one thing you really should walk away with? It's that modern cybersecurity isn't just about having the sharpest swords. It's about how you guard them.
Look, SIEM, XDR, and SOAR are absolute game changers. They give you the visibility, the intelligence, and the automation you need to fight back against modern threats. But that incredible power is also their greatest risk. The ultimate takeaway is this: you must invest just as much effort in securing the tools themselves as you do in deploying them. Because if your watchtower isn't secure, the entire kingdom is going to fall. So the question you have to ask yourself is, who's watching your watchers?